very common theme of your channel is more colors is just better. I understand that, but personally find more enjoyment out of the game by having less colors and more interesting commanders. Partner decks just kinda bore me. What makes a lower color commander worth playing? Especially monocolor, or is never worth playing less colors good and we should always play for 5?
This is a really good question. Let's talk about it. So there are two things I just want to say first here. The first one, well, the more colors, the more good. If you have more access to colors, your deck will in general be better. But the second thing I want to say is that you should always play what you considered fun. If you focus on playing things that you enjoy, you're gonna get better at the game because you're gonna put more energy and time and effort into what you consider fun. If I give you a deck that is 5 colors but you don't really enjoy it, but this deck is like the tournament best deck, there's a lot of discussions and tier lists out there on other YouTube channels where they recommend really strong decks, and I kind of agree. But if you're playing that really strong deck, that really recommended deck, and you're not really enjoying it, you're not really gonna perform that well. So pick a deck that you enjoy, even if it's only just one color. But if we begin just looking at red, we have Dockside, Dragavan, Breach, and Cement Spirit Guide, awesome red cards. In white, we have things like Esper Sentinel, Ranger Captain, Grand Abolisher, and Silence, and more. In green, we have Carpet, Birds, Elvish Spirit Guide, and Oof. In black, we have Tutors, Stacks, and Oddnos. And blue has Counterspells and Kardra, Rhystic Study, Fish, Force of Will, Fierce Guardianship. So when you're picking a 5-color commander, you get the best of the best, all the good cards you can possibly think of. And when you're choosing less colors, you have to, be picky. You have to pick the best ones among that color. And if we go back to 2016, the era that a lot of people considered cEDH to be really bad, Timur Frasius dominated the format, and this was pretty much the only thing you could play. And here's the thing, back then the decks were really bad. Like, cEDH decks contained something like 10 dead cards that were useless, that actually didn't do anything, and you just hoped that you didn't draw into them. And that's why you had to play so many colors you possibly could, so you got access to a lot of really strong cards. But also you really needed a powerhouse in the command zone to just give you quality overall, so to say. Let me showcase what I mean by showcasing Mana Drain and Counterspell. They are pretty much the same thing, but Mana Drain is obviously better, so you rather draw into Mana Drain instead of Counterspell. Birds of Paradise is better than Boreal Druid, so you rather draw into Birds than Boreal Druid. So in those decks, the power level between cards overall was very different. Like, you had some really strong Soul Rings, Carpets, Mystic Remoras, and then you had like dead cards that were useless. And gaining more colors, identities for your deck meant that you would increase the power level inside your deck in just an overall. And that meant that playing monocolored or dual color was really hard, because then you accidentally had more dead cards. But here's some awesome news. A lot of stuff have changed. So as the question here goes, or is it never worth playing less colors? Today, it is absolutely fine to play a monocolored commander for a very simple reason. Wizards of the Coast have printed more cards. So let's take Maren as a random example, a 2-colored black-green commander. She has really struggled in cEDH because, well, the cards in black and green have usually been pretty bad. But we've gotten better cards, like Opposition Agent, Daffy Voidwalker. We didn't have those, and Collector Roof and Force of Vigor. We had neither of these when Maren was first printed. Getting access to more new upgraded toys means that she can replace some of those bad cards with good cards. And there are more black-green card examples I could put up here for you guys. But when you're upgrading your 99 to have better quality overall, it doesn't matter what card you draw, you're just drawing a good card always. That means that the commander doesn't need to be that good anymore. As I mentioned before, Frasius Tymna was the must-have because they were just so good. You really had to have a really good commander just to make sure your 99 didn't perform that terrible. But commanders these days in the current cEDH metagame doesn't actually need to do that. The 99 can play pretty good in even green-black, or well, kinda good. could get better, and it's probably gonna become better and better over time as well. I've actually said this on the channel before. When Oppo Agent was printed, it was an option, an alternative that Frasius Tymna could include, but it was a straight up upgrade for Maren. Maren gained more power level from Oppo Agent compared to Frasius and Tymna. But this also means that Maren's very unique cool ability could be a powerhouse to synergize extra with. Because truth be told, there's a lot of dual-colored, monocolored, and sometimes also free-colored commanders that have extremely strong abilities, they're just lacking colors. Mono Blue Ursa is actually a really good example of this. Like, the text on this guy is absolutely bonkers. He can make artifacts tap for mana, he can shuffle and cast cards from the top of a library without paying for them, and he creates constructs when it comes into play, but it's mono blue. So the problem Ursa currently struggles with is that the mono blue card collection doesn't really perform a really good 99 yet. Well, more blue cards are gonna be printed, so his power level will increase over time. But just look at his text. I mean, this is an amazing card. It's just that the mono blue is making him struggle. But over time, I absolutely believe Ursa will become stronger. And now, let's compare Ursa to Tymna the Weaver and Frasius. Well, Tymna and Frasius are really good, I gotta say that. Their card draw is amazing, but Ursa also has that Frasius card draw ability as well as making your artifact tap for mana. So there is so much cool synergy you can do with Ursa, and here's a very important thing. When all the cards in your 99 and all of your opponent's cards in their 99 and everyone's decks are on an equal power level, like all cards are just identical, the person that can make synergy with cards will take them to a higher power. And Ursa is a good example of this. Here we have a Grafdigger's Cage. Now you can play Grafdigger's Cage inside Tymna and Frasius, obviously, but it actually has synergy inside Ursa. So the card has a form of really strong power level in the current format. Like, it's a good card. It's a good card currently in the metagame. But Ursa will make it stronger in his deck. And this is giving you an argument for playing those lower color identity commanders with synergy towards specific cards. Another good example is Venota versus Frasius and Tymna. Now, Archon of Emir is a really good card in the current metagame, and every white deck could basically include it if you want to go for the stacks strategy. Tymna the Weaver and Frasius could obviously include this, and by the way, Archon is pretty good with Tymna, because Archon attacking, drawing cards with Tymna, that's good, that's synergy for the Tymna here. But the synergy with Venota, in my opinion, is a lot stronger. The difference between drawing a card and tricking a creature, a human, directly into play, that's pretty amazing. That's a big difference in my opinion. So the synergy between Venota and Archon is better compared to the synergy between Tymna and Archon, in my opinion. So is it worth playing lower amount of colors? Yes, if you find a strategy with a specific commander that can suddenly include a lot of cards for that very low color identity, but still make a really good deck. Like I've said on this channel a lot of times, don't include bad cards that demand synergy. Try to include cards that are individually good on their own, but will also synergy, because when you synergize cards together, the cards just become stronger, and a way to do that is with a lower color identity commander. This actually brings up another topic that I kinda wanna talk about. In my opinion, a commander that is 5 color and just have all possible synergize in the best of the world, like it's equally good to a monocolor commander's individual power level, I almost think we should potentially ban that commander just to prevent every deck from becoming a 5 color ultimate deck. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have Nayela, Kenrith and Sisay. Now these are 5 color identity commanders, even though they are monocolor commanders. But they are 5 color identity. You get access to everything in the color pie, the best of the best cards available to you. Which means that you will be able to create a really strong 99. But also, these commanders are extremely strong individually on their own. They compete really well versus those monocolored and dual colored commanders. Now, they're not over the top, they could be worse, they could be stronger. I actually think they're fine. But guys, just imagine a 5-color Yisan. That's strong. Like, Yisan isn't an amazing commander, he's just mono green, so like his power level is going down because of that. But if he was like all 5 colors, he could be bonkers. Like, why play any other commander when you could have Yisan, all 5 colors, and just synergy with everything? So I actually play Yisan inside the 99 of my cEDH deck, and he is amazing in there. Like, in my view, he's a 5-color cEDH Yisan deck. When you draw Yisan, you play Yisan instead of cEDH, because in my opinion that just worked out better. So I don't want a 5-color Yisan. I actually think that could hurt the format and like push away deck diversity. The same way Thrasis and Tymna pushed away all other deck diversity basically. So to end this video and this Q&A, I would like to say that yes, mono and dual and 3-color commanders works fine. Printing more cards have basically solved the problem, as suddenly you can make your 99 really good, so you don't really need your commander. Your commander could be synergy, combo, or whatever cool trick the commander wanna do. And it actually has some really high potential in there when the commander is synergizing with every single card inside the 99 that are individually good on their own, but become stronger once the commander is in play. But a mistake a lot of people do is that they include cards that will synergize and be really powerful with the commander, but will be individually bad on their own. So if you don't have access to your commander, you suddenly have a really bad deck, and you don't want that. So it works, but you could do it wrong. And last of all, of course, I wanna repeat, play what you enjoy. Play what you consider fun, but try to make it work. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you have any more questions, leave those in the comments below, and I might make more videos like this Q&A style in the future. Take care guys, and I see you in the next video.